I don't want to.
But I do.
I don't want to know what happened, Claire. I want to move on.
How can we move on if we don't know if it'll happen again?
We just won't go back there.
How do you know it's that simple? It ruined... I just want to ask. Clearly someone knows what's going on, so at least one person on the internet has to. Let me protect you.
Maybe I want to protect you.
And you did. And you will after this. Hey!
You can't appease me with a kiss.
Okay, fair. Let me just... Please?
Fine. But then that's it.
Deal. Hello there. I've never really made one of these before, so I'm not exactly sure how to address everyone. I guess, like, comment, and subscribe doesn't come easily to me. I'm not really one for the public eye. Don't get me wrong, I certainly know my way around a dance floor, but a microphone in a quiet room, it's not really my thing.
You're rambling.
What I'm trying to say is that's why it was really important for me to do it right. Do something really grand and showy. We're not exactly one for a crowd, and I didn't want to prove anything to anyone else. I wanted to do something nice for you. For us. For our eyes only. We have a favorite camping spot at our local state park. It's so perfect and peaceful, and it's full of my favorite memories. It's a circular clearing right next to a stream with a giant fire pit in the center and trees along the edges, just spaced out enough for some hammocks. I love it. I love that it's ours. So that's where I wanted to propose. Also, now is probably a good time to mention that I'm one of those people with those little powers. Nothing too fancy, but I can make little lights with my hands. Tiny glowing orbs or drawing out stuff. I'm a great flashlight when I need to be.
It's been especially practical since our electrical bill increased.
Don't tell them that. The landlord could be watching.
Then he shouldn't have raised our electrical bill.
Regardless, my powers are relevant, I swear. I show it to you now, but I mean, I haven't really felt up for it, which I should just get to the bad bit. It was the second night. You were doing dishes by the stream, and I was getting ready for my setup. I put out our fire and began to light the dark. It started with strings, little swirly wisps that I could throw into the air, catching branches of the spindly oak trees, and then came the small orbs, flickering around like flames on a candle or distant stars or fireflies. It was a little tiring, sure, keeping track of them all, feeling them buzzing in the air under my skin. I may have overstretched myself, but it was for the best reason. I ended with the greatest question in the world. Will you marry me?
Yes.
No, love, that wasn't me asking.
Yes.
I still get a redo. It's going to be perfect, and you're going to be very surprised.
Yes.
Good. Well, it was done, and it was beautiful. I wasn't even nervous. We've talked about marriage a million times. The only surprise there was when the proposal was going to happen, not if you were going to say yes. So I just needed to wait to hear it. Not much to do when you're standing alone in the woods, so you look at your surroundings, and my surroundings were dim. When you're camping, I feel like you feel like what human instincts were designed for. Threats in the dark. That extra prickling on the back of your neck during sunset as your eyes adapt and you slowly see further into the night. That aching sense of dread beneath it, shouting at you that there's danger anywhere you can't see. The rest of your senses heighten to compensate, and you find yourself jumping at every small crinkle of a leaf, but your sight is supposed to get better the longer you look at the dark. So why was mine getting worse? It should have been the trick of the light. I illuminated so much that should have been the answer, but it wasn't. It really wasn't. The shadows were stretching, languidly, almost imperceptibly, growing and widening through the trees. It wasn't possible. It wasn't. So I must be wrong. I needed to be wrong. So I looked in another direction, but they were all around, expanding, reaching. The longer I looked into the depths of the woods, a little more light faded away, and the darkness drew closer. I could feel it. And the shadows of the trees were reaching the edge of our clearing.
That was when I came back with the dishes and my lantern. and I saw your lights and your display, and it was beautiful. And they ruined it. Claire, they took it from us.
I know, love. We just have to explain it, please.
Okay. I was there, and I was, God, even overjoyed is too small of a word. I mean, I wasn't fully surprised. You were adorably jittery by the end of dinner, but it was so perfect. And then I saw you were looking off in the distance, distracted, like you heard me, but you couldn't look at me. I thought it was an animal, that you were looking at a black bear and couldn't make any fast movements. So I inched my way towards you with 2 of our frying pans, ready to clash them together so it runs away. Before I could, you took my hands and whispered to look out at the tree line. The shadows were creeping toward us, and then the lights above us flickered. I felt you shudder in my hands as I looked up, and I saw what should be the branches, but they weren't. They were not trees. They were their shadows, and those shadows were clawing at the lights, slowly and creeping, shaking like they were sickly, hungry. The twig-like fingers plucked at the dancing orbs and squished them in their revolting facsimile of a poem. I think if I had looked deeper into the darkness, I would have seen their faces. I don't want to know what their expressions would look like. And you were... It was awful. Grabbing my shoulders as your legs shook so hard you couldn't stand. They were destroying your light, taking what you are and using it for themselves.
I know. I remember. It was... They started to tear at the words I wrote for you right above our heads. It was like they were clawing at me. I felt faint and sick and scared. I couldn't stop them. That was all you. You and the...
Right. We should bring that up, too. A week before this happened, I was going for a run. Sunny, not too hot. Perfect conditions. I was at a traffic light, stretching out my legs, and someone was looking at me a few feet away. They were well-dressed, dark academia-y, looking so exhausted a breeze would knock them over. Pretty clearly some flavor of queer.
Blake!
I'm not wrong for giving an accurate description. They were staring at me. Not in a romantic way. It was very non-judgmental, just intense. I couldn't tell if they were nervous or excited. I asked if they were okay, and they shook their head and said, "Not really, but thank you for asking." I was going to ask if there was anything I could do when their eyes sort of shifted. They stopped fidgeting, their pupils dilated, and they took a shuddering breath. Their focus on me, it turned severe. They said the words, "the dark." They said it would be in the dark of the woods and the deep of the trees, that it would come after me, that I would be very afraid. Before I could react, they reeled like an electric shock, throwing their hands roughly over their eyes and pressing them. It was so strange. Their face, it was like it was fighting between a grimace and a smile. They apologized over and over and over and said, maybe try the fire. The fire might draw it out, at least until sunrise. They said they weren't certain, but that they didn't want to be certain. I reached my hand out to steady them. I really shouldn't have, but it's instinct. It's how I comfort you. So, but they jumped back, said sorry for the 1,000th time, and then rushed away. I didn't follow them. I didn't understand. I told you about it after, too. But as I held you in the dark, surrounded by the arching shadows, you writhing in my arms, I thought of them. And I let go of you to grab the lighter fluid. It was a miracle we didn't start a forest fire, because I poured that liquid across the hot ashes from dinner and tossed in as many logs as were within reach. Your lights were fading. You were calling my name, but if I did this, maybe too much light would burn them out. So I lit the match. I tossed it in. I think that's the closest I've ever gotten to burning off my eyebrows, to say the least. The flame roared. It almost touched the branches leering above. The darkness screamed. Gurgling, rippling, bubbling sounds as the shadows recoiled like they touched a stovetop. I watched your muscles finally relax, and you slumped over on the ground. We got as close as we could to each other, as close as we could to the flame. I think you fell asleep.
I did.
I didn't. I watched the fire burn, kept the light alive until sunrise.
Until we left. I don't know what happened to us. I don't know what any of that was, but it felt awful. And if that strange student somehow knew enough to tell Blake about the fire, then there's got to be someone out there that can tell us what is actually happening here. We obviously asked the British fella, but we can't find them, and honestly, they could have sicked those monsters on us.
I don't think that's true, Claire. Their advice helped us.
And why didn't they tell us not to go at all?
I don't know, but they were so gentle. I don't think they'd be that cruel.
Well, because they didn't say anything, now I have to propose again.
Not again. Propose for the first time. You never got around to the actual asking bit. I didn't even get to see the ring.
You will when it's been long enough that I can actually surprise you.
If you're not careful, I'm going to propose to you first.
Oh, don't you dare.